I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. Residents may apply for up to $25,000 to help cover 2019, 2020, and 2021 tax years. Previous year's taxes must be paid in full or in a payment agreement with the Treasurer's office. Eligible homeowners must have a qualified financial hardship that occurred on or after January 21st, 2020. You must currently own and occupy your home as your primary residence and must have owned it since January 21st, 2020. To see if you qualify, please visit waynemetro.org, call 313-388-9799, or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, good morning. If you were looking for the usual broadcast on a Friday of the Ask Welfare Rights Project, you've been successful. We're here again, and usually when I say we, it's referring to myself and Marion Kramer, who have been involved in working on this project for a couple of decades now. And now the we now includes my colleague, long-term member of Michigan Welfare Rights, Teresa Clayton, who is here in the studio today. So we'd like to welcome everyone to the weekly broadcast. If you're wanting to call in, get information, or give information, you can certainly call. The numbers are on the screen, 313-868-4336 or 868-0351 or 868-0342. If you have paid your cable bill and your cable is still on, you can go to your website at www.tv33whpr.com. And again, you know, I always give the details. If you got one of those great big old floor model TVs and it's in the basement or up in the attic, you can get one of those metal coat hangers and fashion it and put it on the back of that TV, and it becomes an antenna. And if you can get that to work for you, you can always pick up the station and the program at 15.2. So there are a couple of ways, more than one, where you can tune in. We've got a couple of things we're going to raise today, and want to start off with some information, Ms. Teresa, that I got just a day or two ago. And that is the Lions Club International. You know, Lions Club is the group that has the canes, the white canes, for adults and children that are vision impaired. Okay. So the Lions Club International is hosting a recycling furniture, clothing, and household goods event. Furniture, clothing, household goods event. And that's in Highland Park. And it's going to be at a place called the Maiden House Ministries, Maiden House Ministries, and that's at 16111 Woodward, right there at Puritan. Tomorrow, Saturday, the 15th of July, 16111 Woodward at the corner of Woodward and Puritan. Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock, and from 10 until 4, these items are there. These items are being donated. They're free of charge. So if you need an end table, you need a couple of chairs, you need some furniture. They tell me that the furniture usually goes first. And, of course, you'll have to bring your own vehicle if you want some of those things. You'll have to bring your own shopping cart if you're interested in clothes. New clothes, some gently used, winter coats. Okay, we always need winter coats. I know today it's going to be 85 degrees, but one day it's going to be 58 degrees, and then one day it's going to be 8. and maybe 5. So get those things ahead of time, and those things are going to be available. Again, that's tomorrow, Saturday, July the 15th. From 10 until 4. If you're interested in furniture, you might want to try to get there about 9:30 so that you could see, and maybe if there's a limited amount of furniture, maybe you want to get there a little bit early so that you could see if there's something there that can fit in the back seat of your car.
Miss Taylor, anybody can come?
Anybody can come. You don't have to be vision impaired. Anybody that's able to show up, you can get there.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, we're going to take this call right quick. Caller, thank you for being the first caller on Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you on the air.
You know it's Grand Rising. Grand Rising is Grand Rising today.
And Grand Rising to you as well. Now, Madam Grand Rising, I'm going to ask you to hold on for just a hot second, okay? Want to say something right quick about General Baker. Now, we lost Jen a number of years ago. And, you know, there are some people when they join the ancestors, you have pain for a long time. You know,
right.
There are other folks that when they join the ancestors, I remember this priest said this, it was a Catholic priest said this a long time ago. Some folks, they just need to go to the cemetery, somebody dig the hole, put them in there, throw some dirt on them, and walk on. There are some that are like that. But then there are others like Jen and like Chuck Wooten. And when they join the ancestors, like Sandra Simmons, you know, join the ancestors, and we can't get over it. Marianne Mahaffey, joining the ancestors, coming on down to Central United Methodist Church, and you can't get over it. And even after the mourning period is done, you still have that lingering wound. Irma Henderson.
There's a void.
There's a void, and you already know you can't replace that. You know, Irma Henderson, everything in trouble with her, all of the good work she did as a social worker, and then her eyes, taking away her vision. And she continued to work right up until the last possible minute. And that's a void, you know. Coleman Alexander Young, and with them bad words he said and how we felt when he talked about that stuff. And you knew that there was a void there that you weren't going to be able to get past. You're going to have to just deal with this pain. And like a colleague of mine told me a long time ago, we have to just find a way of working around it. And I remembered that, you know, and we all have moms that have left, and dads and grandparents, and, you know, that void is there, you know, and now we have to send another one of our loved ones home. The loss of Joanne Watson. There's a void there. What an analytical mind. What an historical expert. What a voice for social justice. And that voice has been stilled. And the only thing we can do after we dry up our tears and sit down in the chair and think back about all of the interactions you might have had with this most recent, what do you call her? I mean, you know, what would you call her? Monumental personality that you have to send back. I can recall being in all kind of meetings and whatnot, and the subject is being discussed and other things are being talked about, and all of a sudden you would hear somebody say, "That's right." And you say, "Okay." Didn't see her come in, but you heard that voice. That's right. And calling on that, on the truth of what was being discussed. So, you know, we all feeling the same way. You know, sit down in the chair. 2 days then went by now, 3 days, I don't even know. And it doesn't matter, you know, because we've got a void, a blank spot in our hearts. And the only thing we could do, like the kids tell me at my school, Miss Taylor, keep it moving. Ooh, Lord, that's the only thing we could say. So, you know, she's a part of that royalty, part of that group of community royalty that meant and will continue to mean so much to so many of us, you know?
Yes.
My goodness, my goodness. Grand Rising, what you got to tell us today, dear?
All right. I've got to still come on down to the station one day when you're there and have the engineer with his brilliant skills look at my laptop because I'm still not able to get WHPR on my laptop.
That's not good.
Anyway.
And he hears
it's all
that.
right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm still able to hear a lot of the show when I, call.
Understood.
But I want to give some.
Well, hold on just a moment. Madam Grand Rising, did you hear me just talk about this event that's happening in Highland Park tomorrow?
You know what? That's why I'm glad you said it again, because I heard you on the tail end, and I was getting ready to report it as well.
Okay, well, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Yes, the Lions Club International Furniture Home Goods Giveaway 4th Annual Recycling Drive, Saturday, July the 15th, 2023, one-day event. And that's at the Maiden House Ministries here in Highland Park, 16111 Woodward Avenue on the corner of Puritan in beautiful Highland Park, Michigan, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Free giveaway items needed: beds, mattresses free, couches free, dining room tables, side tables, lamps, wall hangings, pots, pans, dishes, TVs, blankets, breads, pillows, towels, all home items free, free, free. Bring your truck and get furniture on July the 15th. Volunteers needed to help sort on July the 14th. That's today.
That's today.
From 12 noon to 7 p.m. at the Woodward location. You can contact Lion Minister Michelle Turner White, the Lions Club International Global Service Chair, and her number is 248 238 4863 to sign up for volunteer for any questions. And this is all free, people, free. And if you can't use it, I know somebody else needs a nice bed, a couch. Free eye screening for adults. The diabetic retinopathy screening, I think that's retinopathy screening. Free vision screening for youth. Eyes check for free.
Yes.
3 months to 1 year old. This
Very
is all
important.
free.
Very important.
Very important. Very important. So now
monetary donations are also asked too to help with truck rentals, stipends for movers, gas and storage of furniture items received after today to continue servicing those in the community. Suggested donations of $20, but if you don't have it, come on any your way, okay?
All
Just
right,
come
we're
on,
talking
because
about
everything is free.
an event that's happening tomorrow at Woodward and Puritan. Starts at 10 o'clock. People should probably get there a little bit early. And I didn't know about the volunteer activity, but sounds right to me. Depending upon how many items are being donated, I'm sure we're going to need some help to try to parcel out clothing and shirts and ties and coats. Oh, always coats. Always coats. Chairs and tables and all those kinds of things. But
Pots,
Saturday.
pans, dishes,
Yes.
TVs.
Yes, for sure,
Blankets,
for sure.
spreads, pillows, and towels.
Yeah.
You can come and get a couch.
Yeah. And it might be the only chance you get tomorrow at 10 o'clock, from 10 until 4, or until items are gone. And I'm told that there are tons of clothing, new clothing and gently used clothing. And almost every year we have to call for winter coats and sweaters and whatnot because so many of us don't have those things, you know.
Don't forget to bring your old prescription glasses, because, that's what Lions Club has been known for.
Yeah.
They, donate
Can't use
the
them
glass.
anymore. Yeah. Okay, now, it was something I had on my mind, and I forgot just that quick, and it was about this. It'll come back to me. Madam Grand Rising, this is Friday. And I noticed a couple of days ago that the COVID numbers are starting to creep up again, okay?
Here we go.
And, I've had about 4 or 5 parents have come out to my school in Brightmoor and have picked up either boxes or a case of masks.
Oh,
and I
very
want to
good.
make that available
Yes.
to churches and schools. You should get ready now
That's right.
for what's going to happen in, September, October, November. We're going to have a crisis of some sort relative to breathing. I don't know that those Canadian fires will be out by then. And so
Right.
we need masks and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, folks need to be coming out to my school, and I got to don't do it on a Friday because I don't have students in the building on Fridays, but Monday through Thursday, I can put a slew of kids and can put
Okay.
a case of a mask in your car, in your truck. I've got tons of light bulbs.
Yes.
The LED light bulbs. I got some people Monday through Thursday that can put those light bulbs in your car.
right.
And you're going to need those things, and later on, oh my goodness, I've got 3 lights that went out in my house. 1 light that went out in the house. And you go in the kitchen, open up the cabinet where you keep your spare light bulbs, and you
Right.
put your hand up there, and there are none. Oh, you didn't use them all. All right, so, we need to start figuring out what to do in advance,
Yes.
because we know things are going to happen. And along with that discussion, I keep hearing a whole lot of folks that say, and I was definitely included in this group, I don't want to write a last will and testament. I don't want to write out a document that says if something happens to me, I don't want Tim to get my car. I didn't write that down yet, and we better.
We better.
We better, cause I can't think of his name now. Lord used to be down here. He passed on, and he used to make this statement: nobody gets out of life alive. So
That's
we
right.
need to write these documents, and here we got this Aretha Franklin fight. Been going on 4 or 5 years. I don't want to call it a fight. I want to call it a disagreement.
Yeah.
And the sons are having some challenges about how to divide mothers' assets. And we need to stop this. We need to
I
stop
agree.
this, okay? So we
need to
should
stop this.
pay attention if we're organizers on this side. All right, if we're organizers on this side of life, we need to be prepared to be organizers on the other side.
Yes,
So that means on this side, we have to write something down. And we need to stop this. Stop this
Yeah.
kind of craziness that, no, I don't want to talk about it because it's too difficult. Yeah, it is difficult. But it's going to be really difficult if something happens to you and you're not able to make your wishes known.
Right.
So we need to manage this. Welfare rights, how long ago was that, Teresa? 20 years ago, we put together a document that says last will and testament. And oh, Lord, we've got probably another 30 copies of it because we had 500 or 600 at the time, and we would mail them to people. So if you're interested in one of the documents that we already have, and all you have to do is fill it in. I want Mickey to have this. I want Sandra to have that. And Jackie, she can't get nothing. And write all those things down. Write them down now. And if you're interested, you'll call us down at Welfare Rights and send us a stamped envelope, and we will send you one of our own typed up and prepared, already authorized last will and testament document.
How wonderful.
So that you can make your exit plans on this side before something happens and we got to scramble and argue and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, Madam Grand Rising. What else we need to know today?
I want to appreciate Michigan welfare rights for decades. Have always been the backbone of the community when it comes to health services and just of the heart. You know.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. We keep trying.
And you all get some good parties too.
Oh, yeah, we used to give the best. We haven't had a party about 2-3 years, but the party hookups at Welfare Rights, phenomenal. The
Yes,
food, everything, and we make you take some carry-out containers home. And,
Oh,
people always say, no, I don't really want to take anything as they're serving up those great deep dish carryout containers. But yeah, we get back in stride a little bit here, a little bit back in stride because there's just so much stuff going on. Madam Grand Rising, I'll say one more thing, and I forgot to write it down. One of our close members, Al Gladdick, Al passed away a year ago, and we had his final request of ashes being scattered at the memorial garden at the church, at Central Church. And Al wanted to be buried with his friends, right? So Jen is down there, and Chuck Wooten is down there, and a whole bunch of folks, our buddies and whatnot, activists over the years, are at the memorial garden down at Central. And at that event, I only found out, I didn't even know that Al had signed up for the Body Bequest program.
Right.
And you know, we used to talk about that a long time. Body Bequest, thank you. Body Bequest program is offered through Wayne State University, and it's a program that is free of charge. You sign up for it, and upon your demise, they get contacted, and they will take ownership of your remains. And then you get a chance to say if you want a funeral, if you want a memorial service, how do you want to handle the body of the deceased individual. And they will make all the arrangements for you, because at the end of those arrangements, they take skin, and they take eyes, and they take the different body parts and whatnot. If a person was diabetic, they do a special kind of autopsy to find out what happened with your diabetes and what parts of the body were affected by that illness. And they take care of all of the details. Half the people in welfare rights belong to this. And I did not know that Al was part of that. So it took a year for the students to study skin, for the students to study Al's skin in particular, because he had several bouts of melanomas, cancer, on his face. And they wanted to study that, the cellular breakdown of skin, and what does it mean if you're out in the sun. He was a smoker. And what does that mean on the inside of the body? So after all the testing was done at the medical school students, interns, and whatnot at Wayne State University, then they cremate the remains and bring them to the family. And Sharon, his wife, brought those things right down to Central United Methodist Church, and about 40 of us got down there, said what we needed to say to good old Al, and we sprinkled those remains, knowing that Al is everywhere, man. Al's skin is someplace, Al's eyes are someplace, Al's parts are someplace. Al is all over the place.
That's
so
what he wanted.
That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. And we should get involved with those kinds of things. Just because we leave this part of the earth and we go someplace else doesn't mean that other folks can't be helped with our parts. So wanted to mention the Body Bequest program, BEQUEST, at Wayne State University. Tim, your doorbell is ringing. So, all right, Madam Grand Rising, what other information do you need to share today?
Well, of course, I want to share Barber Preparatory Academy here in Highland Park, K through 8. We're having our Jazzy Summer Jam event again. That's a student registration event. Well, we've held on now for the last 3-4 years now. That will happen next Saturday, July the 22nd, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Edith Perchman Park. That's on the grounds of the Barber Preparatory Academy, 45 East Buena Vista here in Highland Park. Music, poetry, vocalists, DJs, bouncy houses. In fact, not one, not two, but we're going to have 4 bouncy houses. Food.
Okay. And
Animal
that's
Farm. I love that Animal Farm. It's so cute. Those little baby animals, and the children get to pet the little goats. And I think they had a llama last year.
a llama. Okay, now that's Saturday, July the 22nd from 1 to 4.
Yes, book giveaway, popcorn, and so much more. It's enrolling now for the fall class, Children First. And, you know, what's so amazing about it is that we get people from everywhere coming.
Okay, now
To,
what time?
not only register their children, but to share in community events.
What
to
time
share
is
with
that
the-
event?
I'm sorry, what you say?
What time? Did you say 1 to 4?
Yes, ma'am, 1 to 4.
And where?
Here at 45 East Buena Vista in Highland Park. You can't miss it. If you know where the post office is in Highland Park,
Yep.
and then across the street there's the Mount Moriah Church.
Yes.
Right down the street. It's a cul-de-sac.
Okay. Well, now
Yeah.
that's going to be on the same day as the Joanne Watson homegoing celebration.
Oh my goodness.
You know, well, yeah, but see, folks with little kids they need to know about this event because signing up for the children to go to school is very important. And you know,
That's
so we have conflicting events all the time.
All the time.
All the time. So, yeah, we have to just find a way so parents and grandparents that are trying to sign their kids up for school. And does school in Highland Park start in August or September this year?
September.
Okay, in my school, I think we started last week in August. That's the first time
Okay.
that's ever happened.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
I know last year we had parents calling up until October, in the month of October,
Yeah.
close to November, still registering their students.
Still trying to enroll kids, yeah.
I just want to mention, too, about the special guest that will be attending our Jazzy Jam, Dolores E. Jordan. She is Michael Jordan's sister,
Okay.
and she's got a book signing on the same day, so she'll be a part of us.
That sounds like a plan. Now, where can one get flyers about this event, or are the flyers ready yet?
The flyers are still being created. They should be ready by Monday.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All
It's
right.
an open enrollment day. Virtual reality games, like I said, music. We've got 2 bounce houses. Miss Jordan, Michael Jordan's sister, donated 2 more. So that's 4 bouncy houses.
That's wonderful. I'm going to make certain I call Marion because I know she love a bounce house. So, Marion to get her knee pads and everything and get in that bouncy house. And you know. So I'll make certain that I'll let her know that that's going on. You know.
You can qualify for a free tablet and a cellular phone, food and dessert trucks, and you can pose with the selfie museum. And you know, we're always thinking of ways to invent something now.
Yes.
And here there's a selfie museum, different background. What do you call it? Background pictures where you can take selfies in this van
Okay.
for free.
Okay. For free, too. Can't beat that
Free?
with a stick. Sounds like a plan to me, Madam Grand Rising. All righty.
And
Well.
that's, next Saturday.
And we're talking about the 22nd of July from 1 to
Yes,
4,
ma'am.
45 East Buena Vista.
Mm-hmm.
Madam Grand Rising, I want to tell you now, and it's not coming up again until probably late July, more than likely August. I want to engage you and whoever else you say in Highland Park, because I'm wrestling in this 2-day meeting that I'm making available with Secretary HUD, of HUD, Housing and Urban Development.
Oh,
The
please
secretary
get me in
is Marsha Fudge, and she made a
Right.
commitment that she would come to Detroit. And at that time, I'm going to pull together a list.
Please.
Don't call me about the list now. I know I'm in trouble because I'm even bringing it up. But at whenever that meeting is set up, I want to get her
Yeah.
here in the daytime, have her meet with our attorneys that we're working with in housing, have her meet with some of the pastors, religious individuals that we're working with housing, because this housing, affordable housing, is just off the chain impossible. And then
Yes,
we
it
want to
is.
have a town meeting, more than likely at Wayne County Community College. We'll have to figure out what location, what campus at that time.
Right.
And at that meeting with her on a panel, and this is
Yes.
a listening panel, where I want her to hear the trouble that people are having in accessing affordable housing, problems
Yes.
with Section 8 certificates, all these community management agencies in the middle to
Yes.
always avoiding Section 8 certificates and throwing people out. And at that meeting, I'm going to have a list and ask people who are interested in having or receiving a Section 8 certificate to put their name, address, some other pieces of information on a list, and we're going to send that list back to Washington, D.C. after we hand it over to Madam Secretary, and so she could put her staff on this. All of these 100 people, all of these 200 people, all of these 500 people, all of these 5,000 people want a Section 8 certificate, and get her staff involved to see how they can make it so. So even though our hearts are broken today, and they're going to stay broken for a long time, we're going to pull ourselves together and get to that. But Madam Grand Rising, I'm going to need you to help work on this.
You got me. This is a God sent,
Yeah.
prayer that I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
To speak with Miss Fudge.
Yeah. She's she calls herself a little chunky, you know, and, and she's just and just come up to you and give you a bear hug that almost. Madam Fudge, I can't breathe. Give you one of them great old time Southern hugs, you know what I mean?
All right.
But she's such a wonderful person, and the staff
right.
that she works with, she put that staff on welfare rights, and we have been in contact with them since last year at this time. So, all right, that's going to happen. All right, Madam
Yes,
Grand
please,
Rising.
please. And like you say, I'll put the word out too for those voices that can, bring something to the table.
Yes. All right, we're going to find a way. We're going to make it happen like we usually do, okay?
We're going to make it happen. Yes, we are. And don't forget, like you were saying earlier, listening audience, COVID is not going nowhere. Friday today, as in every Friday, thank God, from 9 to 4, free COVID testing here in beautiful Highland Park at the Ernest T. Ford Recreation Center, 10 Pinkett. You can get your Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, shot, or booster. Come on, it's free. It's free now. The numbers I hear are going up.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it before, but I'll think about it now, contacting the health department over at the Pitkin building and asking one of them to call in and have some specific information about what other services they might be able to offer over there, since we've been talking about this for how long now, Madam Grand Rising?
Oh,
I don't know.
Way too long.
Yeah, long
way
time.
Too long, because it don't seem like there's any let up. COVID keeps changing his name.
Yep.
Wearing a different outfit. You know.
Yep.
All these variants.
Yeah, we got to stay on it.
It's COVID-19. I don't know was it COVID-50 now? I don't know what the number is.
There's no telling. COVID, like you said, wears a different hat, wears a different dress. Next time may show up as a little girl. Next time may show up as a little boy. Next time there's no telling what it might show up as.
It's a transformer, isn't it?
But it's all COVID. It's all COVID. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
The
Madam Grand
transformer.
Rising. As always, thank you for your comments and your always intellectual donations to this program. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure.
All right, I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you much.
All right.
All right, 868-0342, 868-0351, 868-4336. 6. Ms. Teresa, let me just say one other thing about Joanne Watson. The station has a desire to have a community opportunity. I'll call it that. A community opportunity a week from yesterday. So that'll be on the 20th, on a Thursday. Next Thursday, right here at 166 Victor at WHPR, where folks from the neighborhood, folks from the community that want to express their thoughts, 2-3 minutes, thoughts about Sister Joanne Watson and some event that may have happened, or the feeling that an individual may have about her and her legacy and what she has brought to us. And that event is going to happen on the 20th, which is the Thursday, July the 20th, from 8 until 10, 2 hours.
Okay.
And it's going to be taped. We'll get it some kind of way. They'll know how to do it. Tim and RJ and Maxine and the rest of the folks, the engineering staff, will be able to pull it together. And we'll tape and video that and get it all bundled up so that we can have it available for her family. Oh. And we can use it and show it here from time to time, because Joanne was very involved with activities at the WHPR, again, for decades. So if you're interested, if you have the time and the opportunity presents itself, join us at WHPR next Thursday. That's July the 20th. Anytime between 8 and 10. It's only
a.m.
a.m. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. A.m. Thank you very much. It's a 2-hour block in the morning. And what we need you to do is to call the station in advance to say that you're coming, so that we can make certain that we will be prepared at your arrival. 313-868-6612. 313-868-6612. So call the station and let folks know that you're going to stop by and help us to say goodbye just for a minute. Say goodbye just for a minute for our beloved Sister Joanne Watson next Thursday, July the 20th. So, all right, Miss Clayton, we've got a lot of, situations going on. I named these names, General Baker and Chuck and Al and Marion Mahaffey and Irma Henderson and the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, and I forgot that little 2-year-old, Winter Cole Smith, that we had to send her back. And she wasn't able to live a full life, but, at age 2 years of age, she got called home, and that's probably not accurate, because I don't think she was called home. Somebody sent her, and it's indicative of the problems that we're having, certainly in across the country, in urban areas. Shoshona Shakur's nephew, 18 years of age, was shot and killed the other day, and was on his way to college in just a couple of weeks. And something happened, and he's no longer with us. And all of the families that are going through pain and grief of folks that should have been able to live a long life and got cut down before that. So we're having all of this violence. And, thank God Minister Shakur Malik is recovering. We've been praying so hard, off a respirator now, breathing on his own and trying to recover. And how lucky we all feel that he was able to survive a massive heart attack. So, we have a lot to pray for, a lot of people to pray about, but that really means, Ms. Clayton, that we have to do more.
We got to do more.
We have to do more. We got to take better care of ourselves, we're all working hard, and sometimes we have to remind each other, why don't you take at least one day off? Just one day. Yeah, get you some broccoli. Get you some spinach. Go get it from someplace, or call somebody that knows how to fix what you want. and eat it and rest for a day. Go drink some extra water. Go drink some extra prune juice. Go drink whatever it is that's going to calm your insides down and make you feel better. You know, because this work of social justice is never ending. You know, you're a school teacher, a seasoned veteran school teacher, but you still have to find time to do social justice.
Yes.
You still have to find time to get on the phone to experts at Gallaudet University and try to make plans and arrangements for not just only your grandbaby, but for other people's children who may have hearing impairments and whatnot. So that work beyond whatever our paycheck might be, we still have to do this other stuff.
It never stops. It never ends. But that's okay because that's what we do.
Yeah, and
we keep it moving.
Yeah. Well, I say this is the life we chose, you know. I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm burned out and I'm going to go home. And I tell them, well, okay, you know, I'm glad you're here for the length of time that you were here. I'm burned out too. But, you know, some of us have to stay in this fight, you know. Oh, Lord have mercy, Jesus. We're going to take this call. And let's see. Caller, you've been so patient. Thank you for waiting and thank you for calling. Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you're on the air.
Thank you, powerful, beautiful sisters, for being here and doing what you're doing today. I just wanted to say a few words about our wonderful sister, Queen Mother Joan Watson, when she was still on city council. She had a housing task force, and she called all the old warriors and young warriors together. I remember sitting there with Ted Phillips and Jerry Goldberg and others,
Yep.
and we came up with we have to fight for the program that Irma Henderson and Marion Mahaffey put here 40 years ago.
Yeah.
For nuisance abatement, repair to own, our right by law
Nuisance
to get
abatement
into these houses, put families in them, fix them up, get money that is available from the city and state and federal government to fix them up and turn our people into home owners.
Yes.
That's the path to building generational wealth, and we have to never forget it, and we have to never stop fighting for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. I remember it well. Nuisance abatement. I remember it well. My goodness. Yep. I recall. I remember. Oh boy, Joanne worked on that day and night for months and helped to pull some of that language together along with the caller. And I remember when myself and Sylvia and some other folks went down to City County building and had a list. And we tried to turn the list in to the folks that could look at this list and match it with some addresses that we were interested in. And the guy said, no, I can't touch that. I can't touch that. So Sylvia threw the list on his desk, and he picked it up and threw it back. Said, nope, I'm not going to touch it because I'm not going to accept it because I'll be responsible for something, and I don't know, and I don't want to be responsible. And I can, the caller is so right. You know, we could have had thousands of these properties that at that time were just starting to fall apart and only needed, you know, some love and care by individuals that knew how to do the work, and we could have sent others over there with them to try to help get those houses together. You remember that?
You had so many people that came to Welfare Rights to volunteer their services. When they found out what was going on and these young families needed these houses, and they, you know, who knows how to drywall? Who knows how to do plumbing? But these people came forward and said, we'll volunteer our expertise to help get these houses in order.
So many. And you know, just the opportunity and bringing people in, the experts that said they knew how to do the work, and the next group of people that needed the work done. And yes, I want to have this 3 years. It'll take us to get this housing up together and can pass some inspections. And then after that, the house belongs to you. You didn't have to pay taxes for those 3 years, and we got an additional year. Joanne, one more year added. All right, where nobody had to pay taxes, and starting in year 5, you were responsible for taxes. And just the battle, just always a battle all the time. And how Sister Joanne was right in there. I remember at one time she told me we were going somewhere, and she was walking. And I told her, slow down. I can't walk as fast as you. She said, come on. I got all this energy. Let's go together. He grabbed my arm, and it was not like we was walking together. She's dragging me. Say, oh, okay. And just such a spirit of wanting to get involved, and let's do what we needed to do for the community. The reparations work. She was just getting involved in starting in April, but she wasn't just getting involved in it. This was a brand new effort. Joanne was involved with Reparations Ray and some of those other folks that were involved in that activity years ago. Already had blueprints in place on what would be legal and what would be appropriate to try to repair folks that had been wounded for years in slavery. So, yeah, the caller's right, boy. We have some history all the way back. Marianne Mahaffey, Irma Henderson, all of those folks that were involved with those efforts and whatnot, Sharon McPhail, all involved in those efforts and whatnot to try to figure out what we could do to make the members of our community, not just Detroit, not just Highland Park, not just Hamtramck, but just to make members of the community better off, better today than they were before.
And like the caller said, homeowners.
Yeah.
To make them homeowners and to not give all of the property to the corporations.
And that's where we at now. These corporations, there's a Screen Actors Guild picket line that got set up. Actors and writers and whatnot went on strike at midnight last night. And Fran, Miss Fine, all right, from The Nanny, is the president of the Screen Actors Guild, or whatever the name of the group is. And she started talking about these corporate profits that these folks are making. Sean Fain, the new head of the UAW, international president, Sean Fain. He's not from Michigan. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana, and an engineer by trade, and told the folks at the big three, I guess it's the big four now, Chrysler, General Motors, and Ford and Toyota, we're not going to be shaking no damn hands. You all are making billions of dollars and complaining about our benefits and retirees' benefits and all this kind of stuff until we find a way to keep two-tier workers at a job and get rid of 2 tiers. Either you work for the big three or you don't, and to keep those plants open and keep those benefits working. I remember how you were involved with AFT, Detroit Federation of Teachers, the American Federation of Teachers, and it just looks like the teachers union then slowed down. And we need some voices out here because workers are being abused. What you're thinking about the union activities for teachers? Go ahead.
They cut our numbers down to, I remember when I first started teaching in Detroit public schools, there were 10,000 teachers, and now they're saying there are 3,000, a little more than 3,000 teachers. So they really cut those numbers. And so when you cut the numbers, it weakens the organization. But the other part is, and I was going to ask you about the UPS strike. I had someone tell me yesterday, I didn't know UPS was at the bargaining table. I didn't know they were threatening to strike. I checked my news feeds. I said, yeah, you're going to have to put that in your search engine because you're not seeing a whole lot about that UPS strike. They're trying to weaken the organizations. We have to pay more for our health care costs. And for some reason, people are not equating paying more for your health care costs as a wage reduction. if you're not giving me a raise, or you're giving me a 1% raise, but you're making me pay 20% more for my health care costs, you're cutting my paycheck.
That's a wage reduction.
That's a wage reduction.
You know, I remember when wildcat strikes would be called, and workers at mostly automobile factories would walk out. UPS workers, I remember them walking out. AFL-CIO get mad about something having to do with a accident, and one of their members got hurt or killed, and everything shut down. And I remember a few years ago, this was before COVID, when General Motors workers went on strike because the benefits that were being suggested were not enough. And, you know, Mary, what's her name? Mary Bear. Is that her name? Mm-hmm. The president of General Motors showed up at a negotiation with diamond studs, you know, in her ears. Who was it the other day I heard on TV had a $10,000 purse, and the husband was threatening to burn up her purse. In a minute, it'll come back to me. And a $10,000 purse. Where's my purse?
Oh, I know, right?
Here. This is the most expensive purse I have ever purchased, and it was $12, and it was on sale, and I've had it for about 5 or 6 years. I love this little bag, but this lady had a $10,000 purse, and her and her husband, it was a union guy. It was a UAW guy, and him and the wife are arguing about something, and he threatened to burn up. She got 2 of them, threatened to burn up her purse, and so she called to say he's being abusive to her or whatnot. And after I heard that, I thought, you know, that's not good. But if I had that so-and-so's address, I would have went to that union worker, and I would, excuse me, Tim, I would have whooped his ass. All these workers out here struggling like
That's
40
right.
going north, and he's buying this woman, and she not a union worker. He buying her $20,000 worth of purses.
And we talking about my half.
Oh,
and
my
all
God.
the people that need to call and get help, and yet we got $20,000 worth of purses.
2 of them got a lot of nerve, you know. Yeah, she should have beat him. And then I would have helped her if I had his address, and I would have went out there and beat him as well, because he's not the kind of union representative we need to have, all right? Oh, my God, you know, the kind of stuff that people do, and the kind of just don't give a darn about, thank you, just don't give a darn about appearances and whatnot. But we're going to see this fella, Sean Fain. What's he going to talk about? Are there going to be some advances? Going to be increases in salaries? I want them to really work hard for those workers who are part-time and temporary with no benefits and all that kind of stuff. And I don't even know how to respond to 10,000 teachers at one time in Detroit and down to less than 3,000 or 4,000. I don't even know what to say. You know, all of this mess got to be repaired, got to be fixed. And it can only happen from the bottom up. That's part of the reason I want very much to get Marsha Fudge in here and going to make it clear to her, as much as I really respect and have affection for her, these grassroots organizations going to have to blossom and going to have to move up and tell her this is what we need,
This is what we
and
need.
this is what we want you to do.
Yes.
You know, same conversation got to happen to Pete Buttigieg. Same thing. We got to have some changes in the way the country works, certainly in the way the state works. Gretchen doing a fine job. She whipping all kind of stuff into shape. But we got to do better. We got to do better.
Yes. My half.
Go ahead and
thank
say
you.
something about it.
Thank you for you and having Mr. Sabri on, because my daughter applied. Okay, callers, if you need help, call My Half, MIHAF, and I don't have a phone number, but my daughter watched, and she was, Mom, I'm having a hard time, and I said, okay, now Miss Taylor said call this number and go to this website, and are you watching? And she says, okay, I'm going, and she went, and the bottom line is they're giving her some help. So She
Yep.
had hard times. She had lost hours during
During
COVID.
COVID, yes.
So as most,
Can't catch up.
85%, 90% of the country had lost wages because of COVID, and she was one of them. And so now she's going to get assistance. So anybody watching, if you need help, don't be afraid to call those numbers. Go to the website.
I got the number,
ask for help.
224-5990. 224-5990.
And it was pretty fast. I'll say within 2 weeks from the time because she put in an online application. And within the next 14 days, she got an email from Myhoff and telling her what they wanted her to submit and different things. And so she did. And they assigned her a counselor to work with her to make sure that she got everything. And so she's going to get the help. And we talk about stress, so much stress relieved from her. And we don't want you all out there stressing.
It's not necessary. All right, my engineer says it's about time for us to wrap up. Don't forget, there's an event tomorrow at Woodward and Puritan that starts at 10 o'clock. Household goods being made available at 10 o'clock. Be there. Next Thursday here at the radio station, 166 Victor. We'll see you between 8 and 10 for a community a conversation, comments made about our dear sister Joanne Watson, who has joined the Ancestors. And on that Saturday, 2 days later, on the 22nd, we'll meet you all at Fellowship Chapel over on West Outer Drive for our final homegoing ceremony for our dear sister. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Lord have mercy. How can we continue? Like the kids tell me at my school, Miss Taylor, keep it moving. If you want some masks and some light bulbs, you better call me. Down at Welfare Rights, 313-964-0618. And until then, bye.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree. We are living through unprecedented times. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. Residents may apply for up to $25,000 to help cover 2019, 2020, and 2021 tax years. Previous year's taxes must be paid in full or in a payment agreement with the Treasurer's office. Eligible homeowners must have a qualified financial hardship that occurred on or after January 21st, 2020. You must currently own and occupy your home as your primary residence and must have owned it since January 21st, 2020. To see if you qualify, please visit waynemetro.org, call 313-388-9799, or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.